Welcome to the AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
A Maryland judge shot and killed outside of his home Thursday night.
This was a targeted attack on Judge Wilkinson.
Now law enforcement still searching for the suspect.
We've identified Pedro Argote, 49, of Frederick, Maryland, as a suspect in this case.
Argote is considered armed and dangerous, according to the sheriff, who says Argote shot and killed Judge Wilkinson just hours after Wilkinson ruled against him in court, granting child custody to Argote's partner. Wilkinson's death marks the latest in a series of threats and attacks against judges or their families. More than 1,300 threats or possible threats among federal court personnel were investigated in fiscal year 2022, according to the U.S. Marshals Service.
This is a painful reminder of what will happen if we don't start pushing and advocating and actually begging state legislators to do what they need to do to protect their judges.
U.S. District Court Judge Esther Salas has called for greater privacy protections for judges since 2020 after an attorney who had argued a case before Judge Salas went to her home and opened fire, killing the judge's son and seriously wounding her husband.
If we don't have the states working together with the federal government, we're not doing everything we can to protect judges by sealing the very information that the killer used to hunt down Judge Wilkinson.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like, and share now. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
The walk to freedom in a snapshot. 59-year-old Judith Renan and her 17-year-old daughter Natalie are finally safe after 2 weeks as Hamas hostages. They're headed home after many prayers and tears.
Because they're innocent.
A community's fear now replaced by joy.
Our prayers have been heard for Judith and Natalie, and we are so overjoyed.
Judith and Natalie traveled to Israel from Evanston, Illinois, and have been missing since the Hamas attacks on October 7th. They were visiting a kibbutz in Israel for Judith's mother's 85th birthday. Judith's sister told CNN she had no idea if they'd ever return.
I'm very worried about my sister and my niece. My niece she's not even 18. She's supposed to be celebrating her birthday on the 24th of this month. We know that young women are being raped and injured, and Judith is she's not very, very healthy.
She says Hamas kidnapped 11 other family members from another kibbutz, and they are still missing, though CNN cannot independently verify that information.
As you can imagine, we are devastated and we are having quite a hard time.
Natalie's brother told CNN he's looking forward to hugging his younger sister again and helping however he can as she recovers from the trauma.
At least from my father, Natalie is doing well, is composed. We are ready to start this incredible journey of healing and trauma relief for her.
Both Judith and Natalie are artists, kind, giving, generous souls.
The office of the Israeli Prime Minister says the Israel Defense Forces met Judith and Natalie at the Gaza border Friday, along with the International Committee of the Red Cross, transferring them to a military base in the center of Israel to meet family members. As one family readies to embrace their loved ones, the families and friends of hundreds more are left to wait and wonder.
They've gone through the most evil period of their life, and by people that inflicted just terror and horror to them and to so many others, and our job is to be there for them.
Like the Advocate channel on Facebook for the best way to get updates on stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
We had terrorists all around us.
Jennifer Kahani says she and her family woke up to the sound of explosions and missiles whizzing by. It was the morning of October 7 in the village where they live in southern Israel near the border with Gaza. They soon realized they were under attack.
We saw helicopters overhead. We heard gunfire near us. The terrorists were not far from where I live.
Kahani and her 5-year-old son
What would you like?
are two of the more than 500 displaced people from Israel's north and south who are now living at a Jerusalem hotel turned into a shelter.
We take a hotel, house people inside, feed them, do activities. So we're trying to create some sort of normalcy. We will be hosting next week 1,200 people across the country.
This Christian organization, called the Fellowship of Israel-Related Ministries, or FIRM for short, has mobilized to help displaced people who had to flee their homes.
They want to destroy Israel.
Nissim Cohen and his wife Camelia live in northern Israel. Their son Joseph warned them a war was coming from the south after the October 7 attacks. Now they're also among the displaced. They say they fled their village located 2 kilometers from the border with Lebanon because they saw missiles launched by Hezbollah intercepted right above their heads by Israel's Iron Dome air defense system. From your house near the Lebanese border, could you see the missiles, the rockets flying by?
All the missiles. I saw all the missiles. We saw the army in the border.
According to the Israel Defense Forces, about 100,000 people have been evacuated from communities near both the Gaza and Lebanon borders due to the heightened risk of attacks.
Some of them have lost their homes. A lot of them have lost loved ones. Some of them, I met a family just yesterday that their 18-year-old daughter, her best friend, is being held hostage by Hamas in Gaza. So the trauma is really pervasive. As a group of Messianic Jews and Christian Arabs really working together to say, how can we care for as many people as possible?
Many of these families share a feeling of uncertainty right now. When will the war end? When will they be able to go home? Those are questions for which they don't have an answer right now. Jennifer Kahani says her husband stayed behind with others, trying to figure out how to defend their communities against further attacks.
We didn't just lose Jews. We didn't just lose, Zionists or Israelis that day. We lost tourists that came here for a celebration of peace at a party. We lost caregivers from the Philippines and from India that were caring for elderly.
For now, Kahani says all she can do is hug her son a little harder, pray for her husband's safe return, and hope that something like this never happens again.
Follow the Advocate channel on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on stories that matter every day. Here's our #1 story of the day. Take a look.
20 days and counting since Representative Kevin McCarthy was kicked out as Speaker of the House.
This is embarrassing for the Republican Party. It's embarrassing for the nation, and we need to look at one another and solve the problem.
Rep. Jim Jordan of Ohio exited the race for Speaker Friday after 3 failed bids. Since then, numerous Republicans have thrown their hats into the political ring, including Representatives Tom Emmer, Pete Sessions, Kevin Hern, Jack Bergman, Austin Scott, Byron Donalds, Mike Johnson, Dan Muser, and Gary Palmer.
Congress is like high school, but even more so. So hopefully we'll get past this.
The House of Representatives is basically at a standstill until a new speaker is confirmed. That means no legislation can pass, like policy bills and government funding bills. And if something isn't resolved by November 17th, the U.S. is going to go broke.
This deadline for government funding will be on top of us before we know it. So it really would behoove the Republicans to get a speaker this week and get in the game.
Democrats in the House say teamwork between Republicans and Democrats is needed to get back on track.
The only way to do it is to figure out how we can partner in a bipartisan fashion to reopen the House and govern in a reasonable, common sense way.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Thanks for watching the Advocate channel's top stories. We're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Follow, like, and share, or check out advocatechannel.com for even more stories that advocate for you.